So, there's just what's happening. That's the message. And that doesn't need to be said, really, because doesn't need to be said because that's just what's obvious. And if there was anything more than what's obvious, and if there was something needed to be said about it, something needed to add on to what's already here just now as this, then it wouldn't do any good, because saying words, understanding words, doesn't do anything to just this. What is here? What's just appearing, just as this. In other words, the only thing worth talking about, in other words, the message, the non-dual nature of this, of what is just what's obvious. And there's nothing to say about, there's nothing to do with it, with words, or with anything. It's all done. It's what's here, as this, as you, as whatever is here, whatever is simply here. We say simply appearing. Appearing is a word. It's another word for here. And we don't know what here means. We don't know what appearing means. What is it to appear? What can you say about it? It's just what's obvious. Even obvious is a useless word. It's just that there's nothing to say and there's nothing to do. It's all done and it's all here. And that's the news. It's hilarious that it's news. Because what kind of news is that? It's only so new. But it is new. It's what's always new. Because it doesn't take root in anything. It doesn't develop into a story, into anything known. What's here, what's appearing, what's obvious is not known. So you hear speakers say all the time, it's too obvious to be known. It's too present to be spoken. But yet it is spoken. It's always spoken. And we have all these words as the appearance. But there's nothing. The words aren't about anything. They're not conveying anything. They're not speaking anything. They're just speaking as this. And it's the best there is. There's no problem with this. This doesn't have enough traction to make a problem. It doesn't know anything. And problems are knowledge. Problems are planted in a garden, in a bed of knowledge. I know what is. I know what should be and what needs to be. Anyway, all of that is a story. All of that is what I know. But what I know is not real. It's not here. It's nowhere. It's nowhere, or we can say it isn't nowhere. because knowledge doesn't think it's nowhere. Knowledge appears as a somewhere, a something in a somewhere, which is a story. I mean, that's what we mean by a story. Story is it's a tale about somewhere. I mean, all the stories take place somewhere, and there's something in the somewhere, something going on, and it's going on to me and to others, to people. But anyway, it's all happening. It's all happening as a story. But what is here, what is just here, always, already, isn't happening. It's not moving as anything. Again, there's nothing to say about it. There's nothing to do with it. Nothing to know about it. And that's the news. That's the message. It isn't noticed because we're always looking at the story. We learned, essentially, we can say we learned, even though there's no one here to learn. And there is no learning. No learning happens. There's just this, just what's obvious. There's no learning about that. But yeah, there's this thing, this appearance of that we learned to know things and to know about what's happening, about what's going on, and what to do with it as a separate character in relation to everything that is. Everything that is doesn't have any relations. It doesn't send mail to you. It doesn't correspond. It doesn't know any separate characters. It doesn't have eyes for that. It doesn't have ears for the story. It's just here as everything going on. All right, it's enough.